Hi there, I'm Joshua Howard, and welcome to another episode of Mastering Mondays. In this episode, we're going to talk about money. So why is it important for me to talk about money, first off? Well, something that I hear from a lot of my clients and a lot of people I know in my personal life is that they don't have enough money to follow their dreams, they're stuck in a dead-end job they don't like, they're stuck because of money. And so what I wanted to offer is a couple of insights that have helped me to shift my mindset on money and shift my life around because of it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is your budget. Now, if you're in a situation in which you're in a job that you don't like, or you really want to follow your passion, but you don't feel like you're going to have enough money to follow your passion, something to keep in mind is how much money you're spending every month. And I know that this sounds really rudimentary at first, but when you think about it, how much money you're spending every month really is a connection to the level of freedom that you have. So for instance, if you find yourself eating out constantly, but you also have a car payment and bills and car insurance and all these other things, you're going to find your budget getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you look at your budget and every month you're spending $3,000 when you could be spending $1,200, it's really not going to be that difficult for you to budget. You just need to cut some things out and simplify your life. Really, the problem with budgeting comes in when you don't have enough money to fill out the bills that you already have. So if you're in a situation in which you're not making enough money to pay the bills that you already have, this advice probably isn't going to be that helpful for you. I'm sorry. But for those of you that are in the other situation where you're making more money than you need, something you can start to do is to look at your budget and to just start cutting out all the extraneous things that you don't need. Cut yourself down to just rent, insurance, electrical, gas, and food, and the basic things that you need. And I know that this sounds difficult, and it is, but I can say from experience from living throughout most of the last decade while I've been in college that way, that it is possible. Because while I was in college, I managed to live on somewhere between about $700 and $1,100 a month. And I know that that sounds extreme, and it was because I basically just paid my rent, my cell phone bill, electrical, gas, and that was about it. But again, the thing to keep in mind is that if you're trying to live your passion, and you're really doing something that you love in life, is it worth cutting out other things? Is it really worth cutting out all the fast food that you eat so you can have more money to start to work on your passion? You know, like if you're trying to start a business, is it really worth cutting out eating at Taco Bell every day and saving up $15, $20, $30 a week to put towards your marketing budget? If you really want to stop working and start painting, is it worth trying to cut down some of the expenses that you have so you can save $50 a week so you can take one day off of working every week? You know, and this is really something to keep in mind, is that if you think about money as being equivalent to freedom, you can really start to work on decreasing your expenses and getting to a point where you're only spending what you need to spend. And again, if you're in a situation where you feel like your passion is too far outside of your financial means, or you hate your job and you really want to shift things around, wouldn't it be worth it to cut out some of your expenditures and to start to cut your bills and your necessities down to such a level where you can start to save money? Because something to keep in mind is if you can drop your budget down, you know, say you're spending about $2,200 a month now, if you can drop that down to $1,500, then you'll be able to save $700 a month. And now again, this doesn't sound like super profound advice, but the thing is if you're spending $2,200 a month right now, and you're making about $2,200 a month, if you're able to save $700 a month and cut your bills down to $1,500, then every 2.5 months, you've filled out enough money in your savings to start to pay for an entire month of bills. And now this is where the profundity of this idea starts to come in, is that if every 2.5 months you can put away an entire month of savings, then that's 1 month you can live without your job. So this is something to keep in mind, is if every 2.5 months you can save a month, then at the end of the year you're going to save 4, almost 5 months of living expenses. Now the thing to keep in mind is, how many months of living expenses would you really need to actually follow your passions and get your passion going? You know, if you're going to start a business, I'd say you probably need a year, year and a half of living expenses. But if you're going to do something simpler than that, or just cut down a couple days at work, you know, that's a much easier goal to attain. So think to yourself, how much money do you actually need to live? How much money do you actually need to pursue your passions? And when you look at those two together, you can see how much money you would actually need to get your passions and your life in the right alignment. And once you know that number, it might really dawn on you that you don't need to stay at a job that you don't like. And it might dawn on you that you could live a slightly different lifestyle and have so much more passion and joy because you're doing the things you actually want, that money's not that big of an issue for you. Or, like in my case, you could save up your money, hoard your money, and keep yourself in a position where you're able to live very frugally so that you can follow your passion until it starts to pay your bills. Anyway, again, I hope this has been very helpful for you, and I'll see you next Monday.